video with your host, RenTen ASMR. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a NFL Week 12 predictions video. And for those of you who celebrate, happy early Thanksgiving. This Week 12, we have a special slate because, as you may know, during Thanksgiving week of the NFL, there are usually 3 Thanksgiving games. And this year we have the first annual Black Friday football game. So we will be having a Friday football game. Very unusual. Sometimes later in the season you have those Saturday games, but Friday football it's mind-boggling. So let's get right into it. So starting off on Thursday morning at, depending where you are, 12:30 p.m. if you're on the Eastern time zone, EST, and if you're on the Pacific time zone, PST, it's at 9:30 a.m. You've got the Green Bay Packers visiting the Detroit Lions. The Green Bay Packers so far this year are 4-6, whereas the Lions are at 8-2. The last time these two teams met in Green Bay earlier this year, the Lions had a beatdown on the Packers. Since then, the Lions have continued to dominate against many good teams, suffering losses, 2 losses. They almost lost last week to the Bears, but they pulled off a miraculous comeback. I got to watch that live with like 4 minutes left. They scored a ton of points. So props to them. They really are an explosive offense. They can just take off at any moment. The Packers, on the other hand, though they've done some things right, they beat the Chargers. They don't look that great. 4-6, not even a winning record. I have the Lions winning this by a healthy amount yet again. After that, we have the 4-7 Washington Commanders traveling to Dallas to play against the 7-3 Dallas Cowboys. Yet again, the Cowboys, they're doing pretty well. They're rolling. Dak has done pretty well. They beat the Panthers last week, but in a couple weeks prior, they have been hot. CeeDee Lamb has exploded, had a bunch of very good games, and the Commanders, on the other side of it, they've had a weird season. Kind of started off strong, then dropped into mediocrity. Now at 4-7, they don't have a ton to play for, I don't think. And yeah, the Cowboys are just overall a very good team all around. So I'm gonna have the Cowboys getting a Thanksgiving victory. Both the Lions and the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving, by the way. That's just a fun fact for you. Regardless of what the year, you can always expect these two to have a Thanksgiving game. Then the Thursday night football game should be a fun one. It is a division matchup. Actually, I guess all of these are divisional matchups. Packers, Lions, Commanders, Cowboys, and we continue that trend with the 49ers and the Seahawks. The 7-3 49ers traveling to Seattle to play against the Seahawks. 6-4 Seattle Seahawks. While these two teams are pretty good, I will say that the Seahawks are a much more shaky team. They've done really well, and they've also really struggled against certain teams. So it's been hard to predict how they're going to do week in and week out. The 49ers, on the other hand, they started off the season red hot. They beat the Seahawks already, I believe, if I'm interesting stuff. It's very late in the season to be making this move. I don't know if they can really do anything to save their season. If they finish at like 11-6 or 10-7, then maybe they can creep into the playoffs, but it is a competitive AFC, so hard to say. I do think that the Dolphins will easily get this victory, but who knows, maybe the Jets can shock everyone with their very good defense. Yeah, I'm going Dolphins. This is a fun side tangent. As I mentioned, this is the first ever Black Friday game that the NFL has seen, and it is brought to you by Amazon Prime Video. But last year, I promise this story ties together, but as I've mentioned before, I'm in college, and last year I was talking to this couple, and this is a couple that has been together for 5 years, so their relationship dates back to when they were in high school, and they were talking about the girl. It's a couple of a guy and a girl. The girl's house, apparently her bedroom connects to the living room, and in her room there was like this seat, like a window type seat. I don't know exactly. And behind that wall was where the TV sat in the living room. And so they were telling a story of how one time on Black Friday, the 49ers were playing, and the girl's family was all gathered in the living room watching the 49ers game, and while she and her boyfriend were in her room doing some extracurricular activities. And as they were telling the story, they were laughing hysterically, and I was also laughing. But the one fact that I couldn't get my mind off of, even though they told the story and it was very funny, the entire time I was thinking there's no way that happened on Black Friday, because the NFL does not have Friday games. They must be getting the date wrong. Obviously I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to be obnoxious, but I just could not escape that fact. And the whole story goes on, and the only thing I'm left thinking about is, I wonder when that actually happened, because definitely wasn't on a Friday with the 49ers game. Yeah, so I thought it was funny that that story happened last year, and I had that thought, and then the very next year they come out with a Black Friday game. Anywho, let's move on to the Sunday slate. So Sunday at 10 a.m. you have the New Orleans Saints traveling to Atlanta to play against the Falcons. The Saints this year are 5-5, and the Falcons are 4-6. Battle of mid. I'm just gonna say it. This division is extremely weak. 5-5. The only team at 500 in this division is the Saints. They could easily lose that this week. The Falcons just named Desmond Ridder as their starting quarterback once again. They tried Heineke. They moved away from Heineke. I would say Saints, but it's also at the Falcons. I don't really have a strong edge towards any of these teams. I don't like either of them, particularly in this matchup. I feel like Ridder is more accident prone. He's had a lot of turnovers this year. It's gonna be a little bit difficult for a room, an organization, to go from a quarterback, then step away, and then go back to them. I feel like that's gonna have a toll on Ridder's confidence a little. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it inspired him to have a prove-it type game. But in my opinion, I don't like the move of going back and forth like that. As far as I'm concerned, Heineke wasn't injured. They just chose to make the switch again. I don't know. Not a huge fan. The Saints, I do think that this is the best team in the division. I don't know if they'll end up winning it, but in this game, I'm going to pick the Saints to win the matchup. Once again, I could really see it going either way. These are not strong teams. I feel like whoever makes it out of this division is just going to get instantly stomped in the playoffs, regardless of who they play. But that's just my So yeah, let's move on to the Steelers and Bengals, which will be the next game. Pittsburgh is traveling to Cincinnati to play against the Bengals. You've got the Steelers at 6-4 and the Bengals at 5-5. The Steelers fans can finally breathe a sigh of relief because Matt Canada has been fired. Mike Tomlin said, I just want to see some points, man, when he was asked about Matt Canada being fired. I think that this is a great move, one that I've seen people beg for since last year, so it's good to see it finally occur. Due to Mike Tomlin's excellent coaching, this team somehow sits at 6-4, even though they've been outperformed in every single outing. It's quite remarkable that they have a positive record, but let's see if the offense can be unlocked. Kenny Pickett's development can take a step forward. These receivers can get back in. Maybe Najee Harris can be good once again. So many things. So I think that's great news for the Steelers. The Bengals on the other side, they are really fighting. Oh wait, no, never mind. Joe Burrow is out for the year. I almost completely forgot about that. Last Thursday Night Football, he had a wrist injury. He entered with a wrist injury, and then it wasn't disclosed, but he aggravated it during the game. They announced that he is out for the season. I almost completely forgot. I was going to pick the Bengals to win this game, but now knowing that and now remembering, so I'm going with the Steelers. Their offense hopefully is better. I can't imagine it being worse. Just literally let anyone else call it. Their defense is great. The Bengals are now being led by, who knows, not Joe Burrow. So yeah, Bengals season is over. This is the Steelers. Their time to shine. So I'm going Steelers. After that, you actually have a surprisingly good matchup between the 7-3 Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Houston to play against the 6-4 Houston Texans. Who knows, if the Texans win this game, they could take over this division. It would be possible. Both teams would be sitting at 7-4. CJ Stroud has been rolling. Last week he did have a rather hefty turnover performance. He had 3 interceptions, but 6-4 is a place where no one's on the Texans. I can say I had the Texans as a bottom 4 team this year, so they have really impressed me. And yeah, being at home with CJ Stroud being on the run that he is. Jaguars obviously played much better last week, but 2 weeks ago they played awful against the 49ers. I kind of want to see a close, competitive AFC South race. So, for the fun of it, I'm going to go with Texans in this game. Jaguars, I feel like were the clear lead to take over and win this division early on. But, yeah, it's hard not to root for an underdog. It's CJ Stroud season. Trevor Lawrence, he had that big upset win last year. But it's cool to see a rookie come in, take over team, win. It would be such a cool success story. So, why not? They're at home. Let's go Texans. After that, you have the 4-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Indianapolis to play against the Colts, who are sitting at 5-5. Colts are coming off a bye week, if I'm not mistaken, and the Buccaneers just lost heftily to the 49ers. But that being said, my gut instinct is that the Buccaneers will win this game. I just don't really care for the Colts that much. They still don't have Anthony Richardson. Not that he was going to win a ton of games. It's Gardner Minshew against the Bucs. The Bucs, when they play against good teams, I don't expect them to win. But when they're playing the Colts, I think that they can get that done. I think it could be a close, competitive game. But I do think that the Buccaneers will come out on top. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. It's not one that I'm excited for. There are truly some games that are on this list that have no playoff implications. The Colts, if they win this game, they would be at 6-5. They're definitely not out of it, but honestly, honestly, neither are the Buccaneers. If the Buccaneers win this game, they'd be at 5-6. And then if the Falcons beat the Saints, that means the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Falcons would all be at 5-6 to be leading the division. Talk about disappointing. Imagine being an NFC South team at the moment. I mean, I guess it's good. You always have hope. You can be 4-6 and still be hopeful to lead your division. But wow, jeez. But yeah, that's something that I'm rooting to see. Let's see this NFC South toss-up. I'll go Buccaneers in this game against the Colts. After that, you have the 2-8 New England Patriots playing against the 3-8 New York Giants. Now, this is a very conflicting game for me. I, as a Patriots fan, do not rock with the Giants. I'm not a fan of them. For obvious reasons. Growing up, I think one of the first games in my memory is the New England Patriots loss in the Super Bowl against the Giants. I feel like it's always a very close matchup. We never handily beat them. It's down to the wire, last second field goal, things like that. It's never an easy victory. And there's just a lot of pride to play for. But this year, both teams are so immensely horrible that it's actually not even that either team wants to win a game, to be honest. Right now we're competing for a better draft position. The Giants just won last week against the Commanders, and that dropped them. They were above the Patriots in draft position, but now the Patriots are sitting at the 3 spot, I believe, which is pretty nice. And so, as someone who wants to see the Patriots improve, I do think that having a top 3 pick would be very helpful in that department. Now, obviously, we would need to draft the right player, but from here on out, what is the point of winning a game, really? Especially against someone like this, who us beating them definitely helps them in their draft ranking. Since they're both such low teams, I actually would like the Patriots to lose this game. And so, for that reason, let's go Giants. The Giants just won a game. They just had Tommy DeVito, I think it was, beat Sam Howell and the Commanders. Patriots couldn't even do that. For that reason, the Giants could win this game. I have no idea who the Patriots are going to start at quarterback. I know Mac Jones is taking the starter reps, but so is Will Greer and Bailey Zapp. I know fan favorite and locker room favorite Malik Cunningham is being asked to start in the game. So who knows? Huge controversy going on in New England. And the Giants can capitalize on that. So, Giants it is. After that, you have the 1-9 Panthers traveling to Tennessee to play against 3-7 Titans. Both teams are pretty trash. The Titans have Will Levis. In his first 2 weeks, he looked pretty solid. Last 2 weeks, it's kind of whatever. And the Panthers, on the other hand, it has not been a good season for them, especially after the trade that they made. They're not going to get any capital. They're going to want to try and win this game. The Titans also going to want After that, you've got the Cleveland Browns going to Denver to play against the Broncos. Browns have a nice defense, very nice defense. They got a victory last week against who? Steelers, maybe. Must have been. They just barely won it at the end with a field goal. Then you have the Broncos, who are 5-5, but they are a rolling red hot 5-5. Start off 1-5. They won their last 4 in a row. They beat the Vikings on prime time, and they've beat the Chiefs. They've beat the Bills. They're on a good streak, and I think I want to see them keep it going. I think that the Broncos are somehow going to overcome the odds and beat the Browns. The Browns, their defense is phenomenal. No denying that, but their offense isn't that great. The Broncos defense, it started off awful, but it's been much better in the last couple weeks. So I think it's possible. I'm gonna go Broncos over Browns for this one. After that, you have the 7-3 Chiefs going to Las Vegas to play against the 5-6 Raiders. The Chiefs, they just lost against the Eagles. They've struggled in the second half very hard this year. Only 1 touchdown in the second half of all their games. Tied for the fewest amount of second half points with the New York Jets, which is any time that you're matching the Jets in a stat, not good. But unfortunately, the Raiders are not a team that you really need to beat in the second half, unless the Raiders somehow come surging out with a huge start in halftime. The Chiefs are not going to need a second half push. They can put this game away in the first half, I feel like. The Raiders, while they're much improved after Antonio Pierce taking over and they're really fighting, I don't see them toppling the top of the division like that just yet. This is still the Chiefs division. They run it. So, yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs winning this game. After that, you have the 6-5 Buffalo Bills at Philadelphia to play against the 9-1 Eagles. 9-1 Eagles, like, they're very good. They have they have one loss this year coming in against the Jets. The Bills, on the other side, they played some sloppy football. They won last week, but I don't know if they can be trusted like that. This is going to be a very hard matchup. If the Bills want to prove that they're in it to win it, they need to win this game, because bad things will happen if they don't. Their playoff contention is kind of up in the air. The Texans are right there. The Broncos are actually not that far. So they have to be careful. And on the other hand, like the Eagles, surely they're making the playoffs, but they've been rolling. They have the momentum. They're at home. I think that they could be done with the Bills, embarrass them, maybe even. It would be interesting to see. Yeah, just based on what's going on, I have to go Eagles in this game. It would be silly of me to say anything else, but yeah, Eagles. And lastly, on Sunday night football, you have the Baltimore Ravens at 8-3 visiting Los Angeles to play against the Chargers, who are 4-6. The Chargers just lost to the Packers. They're having a very bad season. Not like bad, unwatchable bad. Like their offense is good, but their defense is bad, and they're not what they should be at. While they have the talent to win most matchups, they don't have the coaching and they don't have the execution. Last week, I was watching the end of the game. Justin Herbert had this beautiful clutch time pass to I believe it was Quentin Johnson. Put the ball right in his hands. Would have been like a 40-yard completion or something. Set them up to win the game or tie the game. And the guy just dropped it. It was really demoralizing as someone who was a Chargers fan, I'm sure. Especially when it's a perfect ball and you're first round wide receiver Fields looks pretty good after his injury. He's looking nice and sharp. But if I am the Bears, I'm honestly okay with that. Get a lead, look real good, and then lose the game. It might be ideal because you already have the Panthers pick. May as well just be bad and get another top premier pick. Let Justin Fields ball out and then just choke away your leads. Obviously, it's going to be hard for the fan base. It's going to be hard for the defense, and you can't coach that. But if every week panned out like that, it's not the worst. Speaking very cynically. And then on the Viking side of it, I think they're still in the playoff picture, 6-5. I believe they're at the 7th seed. They played good. They fought against the Broncos. They didn't lose by much. And yeah, I think the Broncos only took over in like the 4th quarter. Josh Dobbs still has the team going. Justin Jefferson is slowly but surely getting back to health. So I think that the Vikings can walk away with a victory in this one. It's kind of funny how the Bears offseason went and how the Vikings season is going, but yet still, at this point in time, I have more confidence in the Vikings to beat the Bears than the other way around. So that is what I predict. And there you have it. Those are my Week 12 NFL predictions. Just for some conciseness and to review, I'll go over all of them one more time. I've got the Lions over the Packers. I've got the Cowboys over the Commanders. I've got the 49ers over the Seahawks. The Dolphins over the Jets. I've got the Saints over the Falcons. The Steelers over the Bengals. The Texans over the Jaguars. The Buccaneers over the Colts. The Giants over the Patriots. The Panthers over the Titans. The Cardinals over the Rams. The Broncos over the Browns. The Chiefs over the Raiders. The Eagles over the Bills. The Ravens over the Chargers. And the Vikings over the